Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Tanner.
Renderforce.com.
Mimicked you for a second.
Carry on.
Tell us what we're talking about today, Tanner.
Okay.
He's like half asleep. He's like, I almost got away with it.
Yeah, almost. Today, we are talking about our favorite movies.
Movies, I love movies.
Nick, I've had a lot of favorite movies over the years, but we're going to try to keep it to 3.
Dang it. Okay.
Take it away. Give your first one.
My favorite movie, I would say... Okay, my definition of a favorite movie is a movie you can watch, like, you've seen it 100 times, so if I put it on in there, you could sit down and watch it again. Mm-hmm. How many movies do you know where you could watch it from start to finish and then restart it and be like, I'd enjoy it?
14.
You have 14 movies? Oh, jeez, you only pick 3.
Take 3.
I would say it's not my number one.
What's your number one?
No, I'm gonna go from 3 to 1.
Okay, 3 to 1.
Leave some anticipation.
I'm going from 1 to 3.
Tanner likes to give it all away on the first date. I like to make you wait.
I'm going to go from 1 to 3, and he's going to go from 3 to 1.
Okay.
We're going to pass each other.
Number 3 that I could watch over and over again, no matter how many times, is the first Rocky movie.
Great movie.
The first one where he goes against Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I don't care who you are. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's a damn good movie. We used to watch, during Thanksgiving, Papa used to watch Rockies all the time, and I'd watch them with him every single Thanksgiving. And I love the whole franchise. Yep. But Tanner said we weren't allowed to talk about franchises. So, so to pick a movie, though, that first Rocky movie, it was a damn good movie. It was a good movie. And it inspires you. When I stayed up one time, I stayed up all night watching all the Rockies. They had a marathon. It was like 10. I watched every single one of them. I want to be a boxer so bad when it was done. I was like in my bedroom. I was like 14. I was like doing push-ups and crap. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a boxer. It lasts like a week.
It's hard to watch those movies and not get motivated.
Inspired, man. Yeah. Rocky can do it. I can do it. Like he's not going to like on his yacht lifting weights with like all these like hoes twerking everywhere. He's out
there lifting center blocks.
Yeah, he's like waking up in his like 1-bedroom apartment, cracking raw eggs, running up and down the street, doing pull-ups on monkey bars and stuff. And it was the dream, man.
That was a good movie.
It was easily top 3. It is my number 3 favorite movie of all time.
It's a good one.
So inspiring, man.
That's a good one.
Sure, Tanner.
I don't need it.
Tanner won't even look at it the entire time.
I know my favorite movies.
What is it then, Tanner?
Okay, my number 1 favorite movie, and this is no joke.
Sucks.
Literally been my favorite movie since before preschool. Before preschool, Nick.
Okay.
I got in trouble in kindergarten because my teacher said that every Friday was a movie day. So we could the kids in the class could bring in a movie for all the kids to watch. Okay. So all the kids are bringing in cartoons and all this stuff.
What movie did you bring in?
I brought Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, which is rated
talked about silencing our phones.
Which is rated PG-13 and has like dinosaurs eating people and stuff. And I brought that to kindergarten for us to watch. My mom wrote my name on it. I still have the VCR tape. My mom wrote my name on it. My mom let me bring it to school. The teacher took it from me and said we were not allowed to watch it. She called my parents and said that she could not believe that my parents would let me watch that movie.
First off, it's none of their business.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm sitting in kindergarten going, I want to be a paleontologist. Like,
where everybody else was like, I want to be a cop.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to be a paleontologist.
Yeah. I was like, this is my favorite movie. It's fantastic. I've loved it. I'm not a huge fan
new ones.
What
was your favorite part? Was it the clever gal?
Or
was it when he goes up with the claw and like dissects the fat kid that keeps talking?
Part too. It's so good, the whole movie. Everything about that movie is so good.
You didn't ask me my favorite about Rocky is. I won't talk about it now.
You okay?
No.
You okay?
No. So yeah, that was a good one. He dissects the fat kid, or the we need to go faster. We need
we need
must
to go
faster.
faster. It's such a good movie. Oh, I love everything.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. We don't talk about my movies, so we'll talk about your movies. But dude, when I was a kid and I watched it, because I watched it about the same age as you.
Yeah.
When they're in the car, and the T-Rex,
Yeah, he's coming towards them when they're in the Jeep.
I know it's stupid, but I had a huge imagination as a kid, but I would always imagine like my dad would like be going through the woods at night, and I could just imagine that T-Rex, just over, oh my god,
coming
over the
down.
car, and it's just the way that they filmed that was just amazing. Like all the lights go out and they go, huh? Is that supposed to happen?
Yeah.
And then it comes up and it's cool, crazy because it like touches the wires and it's like no electric and it like rips them down. Oh, it's good.
It's such a good movie.
What gets me about the whole Jurassic Park thing are the Velociraptors. They're like, because like one thing that they
when
put
they're
into
in
the
the
movies,
kitchen scene.
well, one thing they were putting in the movies was these Velociraptors are almost as intelligent as humans.
Yeah.
And they didn't
can
really get the
open
credit
doors
that. So they were learning. If you watch
Yeah.
the movie and we'll go back and watch it, as the movie goes on, they're learning.
Yeah.
They're like, because they'll like hit the door and they'll be like, oh, that opens it. And they'll start opening doors. That's why when they opened the kitchen door and the same ones they went to the other thing, they were hitting the door, like when they were trying to like bite the thing. If you look at their claws, they're scratching where the door handle is supposed to be.
Such a good movie.
Oh my god, dude, it is such a good movie. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We don't care about Rocky, but that was a good one.
Rocky's such a good movie.
It is such a good movie. What was your favorite
What's your
part?
number 2?
What was your favorite part of
What
Rocky?
he's doing pull-ups. Now, I like the fight scenes. I love the end fight scenes. I love the...
I just loved it because Rocky was an underdog, and like everybody made fun of him.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't super smart, but he was incredibly strong. That's why he was like getting money from people at the beginning of it. But remember, he liked Adrian, and they were like making fun of him. Would you take her to a zoo?
Yeah.
And he like about pulls that guy out of the car.
Yeah.
Man, and it's just such a good thing. So I feel like all the chips are down. This just is your bottom just guy. He's down on his luck. He's got nothing going for him. And then he gets a shot at the world title, heavyweight champion of the world. And nobody cares. Even Apollo Creed was like, I ain't even worried about it. He's over worrying about press deals. And Rocky's like, I gotta do it. And he's like, ugh. One-arm pull-ups.
It's the epitome of an underdog story.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I can watch it. And the music. Dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, everybody gets goosebumps from that.
That was a really good choice.
Thanks for going back and letting me talk about that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What's your number 2, Nick?
That I can watch over and over again?
Yeah.
See, I've got so many. I have 10, but if I had to go number 3, it's number 2. It's close. I've got so many on that tie. But if I had to pick one, I would absolutely say We Were Soldiers.
That's a good one.
I
haven't seen that one in a long time.
I could watch that movie on loop.
It's a good one.
Rocky might be above it, but that was a good one. Let's talk about what was your favorite parts in that one, Tanner?
To be honest, I haven't seen that movie in probably 10 years.
Okay, so Tanner has nothing to say.
I love the war parts.
I have so many things that I love about the movie.
I love the parts where
so
it showed
many
war.
things. Shut up. There's so many things. One of my favorite quotes of all time is the high-ranking guy. He's like Master Sergeant or something, and the guy they pass each other every morning. He goes, "Good morning, Sergeant." Makes it so good, or something like that. I love that. But I mean, there's so many good things. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. That movie, every time it gets me in the feels because when they're on the helicopter and they're talking, one of the dudes is like, "Yeah, my baby was just born." Later in the movie, that dude gets hit with napalm. And when they find him, he you see his locket, dude. He is like burnt everything, and he's like screaming because he's just like the skin's been ripped off him. That dude had a baby at home. Yeah. His baby was just born.
Yeah.
And I love We Were Soldiers because it in a lot of war movies you're like you see them and they're shooting, you're like action. But that one makes you be like you recognize the soldiers as people. They are sons, they are brothers, they are fathers. And it really makes you, like in the movie, like in a lot of other war movies, you're like, oh, that dude died. Oh, okay, well, they got more.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, like in other movies, you're like, oh, that dude died. Well, like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Like when Vin Diesel ate it, that dude ate it.
You didn't have an attachment.
But in that one, because it goes back to like their wives, like waiting by the phones to see if they're dead or not. And then you start thinking like, oh my God, these are people.
Yeah.
Which is what you should really think about with every war. These are people. These are fathers, sons, brothers, family members, you know?
It makes it more real.
So when you watch it and a mortar goes off and 3 dudes jump up, it's not just 3 dudes. That movie really makes you think about it. Like, those were 3, that was someone carried a baby for 9 months, gave birth to it, loved it, cherished it. He played football. He did whatever. He had a whole life. He went through high school. He said, I'm going to serve my country. And then he freaking died in some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying this people are going to be like, are you against the veterans? No, I'm more than for the veterans. I'm just not happy that young men who had their whole future ahead of them died in some war that somebody could argue might have been pointless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting political, but the whole point of why I love We Were Soldiers is that's one of it. But there's so many other scenes. There's so many like little funny things, and then how when they're training them, like, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna ride this one for a long time. I need to slow down. But anyways, We Were Soldiers, absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time. If you wanted me to, I could go back into a series of my favorite war movies, but that's for another day.
Right.
What's your number 2, Tanner? Don't look.
Not gonna look.
Don't look.
My number 2 actually combats with my number 1 for like the winning spot all the time. Like I've had people say, "What's your favorite movie?" And I will switch these two between Jurassic Park and my number 2, which is Tombstone.
Tombstone.
I absolutely.
That's the one with Wyatt Earp in it, isn't it?
Tombstone.
Dude,
Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp.
Oh my God, dude, that was a good movie.
I love Doc Holliday. I
was a
literally
good-
have "I'll Be Your Huckleberry" tattooed on my leg. I absolutely love that movie. It's
a good movie.
The gunfight at the corral and stuff. Oh God, it's so good. I could literally watch that movie.
I see. I'm
Anytime.
gonna feel like you because I haven't seen that movie in years.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
So I remember it being a fantastic movie.
Oh, it's so
Tombstone.
good.
The whole actual historical story.
Yeah.
Of Wyatt Earp and everything. Yeah. You know, a lot of historians believe Doc Holliday started it at the OK Corral, the shootout. Yeah. Because he was like, I'm going on history rant here, but a lot of historians are like, he was dying, he didn't care.
Yeah. He was dying of tuberculosis.
Yeah, he didn't give a crap. So they walked up, and these were people, they had like bad history with the dudes. Yeah. And Doc Holliday probably was just like...
I'm pretty sure Doc, in the movie, Doc's looking at the guy, and they're like got eye contact, and Doc just staring at him and goes, "To shoot the guy," and then everybody starts shooting. So it's like it shows in the movie. Doc's drawing on him.
I'm gonna bring in a little bit of history involving your thing. Why did the OK Corral, the shooting? Why did it happen?
Because they wouldn't give up their guns.
Everybody talks about the Wild West being so crazy, but the fact remains that when you entered a town, the Wild West, most towns, you were to surrender your firearms at the police station. The most famous shooting in the Wild West happened because they refused to turn in their guns at the city limits. Yeah. They walked into town like, I'm keeping my guns, and the law showed up to confiscate their guns.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But who's remembered as the hero?
Wyatt Earp. Yeah, he's remembered as the hero. It's crazy.
I'm not going to blow your mind, as I've told you before, but did you know that Wyatt Earp, the real man, influenced one of America's greatest actors? So this guy, you know, but I'm going to tell them this. So there was a guy, he was a young actor. Wyatt Earp, after his whole Wild West thing, he actually worked on movies lots when Hollywood was first forming, and there was a very young actor there who would talk to Wyatt Earp, who worked, I'm not sure what he did. He wasn't like a janitor, like he helped out and did things. But he had a reputation. He's like Wyatt Earp. He was semi-famous at the time. Yeah. Everybody kind of knew him. So one guy was like, he took him out to eat all the time and like drank coffee with him and stuff. And he learned and he watched. He was a great actor. So he watched Wyatt Earp, how he spoke, how he walked, how he carried himself. A real cowboy, like a guy who actually lived it. Yeah. And then after he died, later on, that young actor got a role in a Western. And that guy was like, I know what I'm going to do. He walked out and he mimicked, he said that he mimicked the best he could. He was trying to be Wyatt Earp's twin when he walked out there. And that man was John Wayne. Yeah. John Wayne mimicked Wyatt Earp when he did Westerns.
And he did a very good job.
So if you wonder, like, blah, 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 Pilgrim, if you ever see that stuff, he was actually trying to mimic a guy who actually lived through it. Yeah. The real deal.
It's pretty crazy.
Talk about going back in time. How crazy
Yeah,
would
that
actually
would-
meet
yeah.
Doc Holliday. And
Yeah, that would be crazy.
we can't cross the videos. They might not come out at the same
Yeah,
time.
no.
Shouldn't have done that. Anyways, keep going.
But
my turn.
Yeah, your turn. What is your number one,
Number
Nick?
one. What if I told you my number one movie is controversial?
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Now you messed up.
What is it?
My number one movie, some people watch it and think that it is terrible, that it is a horrible movie, and that it's just everything wrong with America and blah, blah, blah. But I see it from a different light. My favorite movie of all time that I could watch over and over again is Full Metal Jacket.
It's a great movie.
Glad
I
you think so.
actually enjoy that movie. It's very good.
Okay, I say it's controversial because I've actually spoke to someone who was like, I can't be happy in a movie that used racial slurs, that used racial and homophobic slurs. I can't watch a movie where the head guy literally picked on the guy who had a mental disability the entire time and made him go to the point of suicide. And I can't support that. And then when you look in Vietnam, they're killing kids and they're prostitutes.
Yeah.
Would you like my rebuttal? I don't have it written, but I have my rebuttal. My rebuttal to all that is, and this is, a lot of people some people like the movie are going to argue with me here. I actually haven't ever said this before, but I've thought it a lot.
Go ahead. Oh, he's getting ready.
Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, Private Powell, or later Lawrence was his name. Mm-hmm. That was probably his favorite person in the entire group.
Right.
And I sincerely mean that. Everyone sees it as he was picking on him.
Spoilers if you haven't seen this movie.
If you haven't seen it, you need to pause the video, go watch it, and then come back. I already talked about the suicide.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing remains, though, yes, it does have some things in it. But anyways, I'm getting to the point of, was he picking on him? I say no. I think that Gunnery Sergeant Hartman saw potential in him. And he says in the very beginning, one of the first things he says, I am hard, but I am fair.
Yeah.
He wasn't looking down. He called people racial slurs, homophobic slurs. But he said in the thing, I don't look down. I'm not going to quote it, obviously. But
Yeah.
he says, I don't look down on anyone here. You are all equally worthless.
Yeah.
You are equally worthless because you're not Marines yet.
Yeah.
Once they were Marines, he says, you are no longer maggots. You are Marines.
Yeah.
He wanted to take his job was to take every single one of them and make them Marines. See, no one looks at it from his perspective.
Right.
He saw, and he even said in the movie, some of you will go to Vietnam when they're graduating. Some of you will not come home.
Yeah.
Some of you will die, but that's what Marines do because the Corps lives forever. And since the Corps lives forever, you live forever. He knew that some of these men were going to go to their death.
Yeah.
You following me?
Yep.
So he saw Private Powell, and he was like, he's fat. He was kind of like laughing at everything. He wasn't really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So the first thing he gets onto him for, first he calls him fat because he's out of shape. It's like this. He imagined it. He might have thought this guy's going to war. He's not going to make it.
Yeah.
He can't carry his weight. I got to get hard on him. It was tough love the entire time. I got to get hard on him if he's going to survive.
Yeah.
And then it kept going. What was the next thing?
Him laughing.
You think I'm cute, Private Paul?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm funny? Then wipe that grin off your face. He wasn't taking
Yeah.
it seriously. He thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
So he's choked him out.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Show me him.
Don't pull my hand over there. I said choke yourself. Now lean forward and choke yourself. I know I can do. That's one of those movies you can just say every line of.
Yeah.
But no, my argument is that Gunnery Sergeant Hartman was not picking on anyone, and I don't believe he was racist or anything or homophobic. At the time, in the time period, homosexuality was not allowed in the military. One of his jobs was to weed it out.
Yeah.
He was doing his job. Right or wrong, he was doing his job.
Right.
Jubilee.
Go, Jude.
So he was doing his job. The next thing, he was hard on Powell because remember he was a tough SOB. But he was hard on Powell because he saw Powell as being the weakest link. And any leader knows that the team is only as strong as its weakest player. Right. That's why he even tries over and over again. He finally says after the jelly donut, he says, I have tried to motivate Powell. Yeah. I have failed. I have failed because you people have not given Powell the proper motivation. His whole thing was he was focusing to make him better, because when the team was strong, everyone was strong. But as long as he even tried, and you could say, well, he was just picking. He even took, well, after he found out that Joker didn't believe in the Virgin Mary, which is twofold in my opinion. One, he was trying to Jubilee, go on, babe. He was trying to show Joker, who he, in his opinion, didn't believe in God. And keep in mind, this was coming from a very old school Christian.
Yeah.
I'll teach him compassion. He will help take care of the weakest link, show him compassion, and I'm pretty sure he thought Joker was, who said, I want to be a killer. He was like, this guy is motivated, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's doing good, he's acing on everything. I'll get one of my strongest guys to help one of my weakest guys. I'll teach the atheist compassion, and I'll help the guy who I'm worried is going to go to Vietnam and be the first casualty to move him up. They're both going to help each other.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. So he knows in his military mind, if he beat out of him, then he's going to want to straighten up.
Yeah.
And it worked. And at the end, before he dies, he says, you know, basically, what's the matter with you? And just trashes him, which in my opinion, I don't feel like that really would have been part of his character. When he goes into the bathroom, first off, what's this Mickey Mouse shit going on? He probably really would have said that. Yeah. But when he said he's got a loaded gun, I don't feel like he would have been like, he would have said, yeah, put it at the ground right now, listen to me, and been authoritarian about it. But when he cocked it and pulled it back, he wouldn't go, what's the matter with you? Did Mom not hug you enough? He would not have said that. That is just, in my opinion, that is out of his character. Right. I believe I'm going to go for 10 minutes of this. I believe what Gunnery Sergeant Hartman would have actually said is something like, look, I know it sucked here. I know you went through hell. But what do you think you were signing up for? You didn't join the Boy Scouts. Yeah. You wanted to be a killer? I made you a killer. You wanted to be a Marine? I made you a Marine. Yeah. Now, quit trying to take he would have looked him dead in the eye and said, now quit trying to F and take the coward's way out. Put that rifle at the deck and do your damn job. That's what he would have said. He would not have said, well, your mom and dad not hug you enough. That is not what he would have said. That's out of character. I'm way too much time. What else? I was going to go somewhere else.
My final one's left.
Anyways, there's other things like the racial slurs and stuff that only really comes from Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. Right. Keep in mind it was the 60s. Yeah. It was a thing. And you could say the only guy...
There was someone that got to Vietnam.
Oh, that's true. But that was Animal Lover. He was crazy. Yeah. They even said, and the black dude in his platoon's like, I'm not offended, but he says he's just crazy. Because he even goes up and it's like, he's talking about killing Joker, the guy he just met. He's like, I'm going to dip you, asshole. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that dude, he's the only, other than that, that's the only other guy. Gunnery Sergeant Hartman and the guy who played Animal Lover. By the way, did you know the guy who played Animal Lover was supposed to be no, it wasn't. The guy on the door gunner that was shooting the innocent people, he was supposed to have been the drill instructor.
Really?
You can look it up. He was supposed to be the drill instructor, Arlie Ermey was actually sent by the Marine Corps to make sure they were favored in a positive light. And when he came on, who did it? He's an extremely famous director. Who was the guy who filmed Full Metal Jacket? Kubrick, that was the director. Yeah, that was it. He was always a perfectionist, and he saw Hartman yelling at him and stuff, and he's like, that's my drill instructor. And he stopped him out. After the first day, he was like, you're my drill instructor. It's like, go back and film it. Anyways, so that was the only place you really got racial slurs and stuff was from Animal Lover, who the movie said, the guy's insane. Yeah. The guy he's seen so much, he's seen so much war. They even, I think it was it Doc J or 8 Ball? I think it was Doc J. He even told him, he's like, he gets back home, he's going to do fine any job as long as you keep throwing grenades at him. Yeah. It's like, in other words, he's not, unless he's getting grenades thrown at, he's not going to function properly. Yeah. This guy's not going to make it when he gets back home. So they admit he's insane. Everybody kind of goes with it. And Hartman, he made racial slurs, homophobic slurs, but he said in the first, I don't give a crap what you are. You're all equally worthless. I'm not prejudiced in it. Yeah. My hatred is towards everyone. It has no prejudice.
Yeah. I hate you all equally.
I don't care who you are. You all are garbage. Yeah. Anyways, so that's my argument for those two. And then with the things that happened in Vietnam, did those things not really happen?
And they did.
Were they not messing around with prostitutes?
They were. Thing is, people don't like seeing.
That's one thing I've always said from somebody, like when you want to talk about history, people want to talk about history to an extent. because then then heroes start looking a little bit. The whole thing is history is gray.
Yeah.
There's no good guy, bad guy. Everybody, there might be a greater, a better, but there's no knight in shining armor versus the evil people. No matter where you look at it from. No matter where you look at it
I
from.
think
Even if the United States and the Soviet Union, which I'm going to go ahead and say I'm very much against the Soviet Union. It was an evil, Reagan was an evil empire. But if there had been a war between the two, every Soviet soldier, were they all evil? Was there not one guy that might have just been like, I wanted to have a potato farm, now I'm holding a rifle. He gets his head blown off in war. Was he a bad guy?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So, and don't get me wrong. See, people, you're going to strew what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is, it was a great movie, but you have to look at it from what I feel like was Kubrick's perspective, how he wanted to portray it. I have talked way too long on this subject, and I almost got off on a tangent. Tanner's number 1, everybody.
Nope, my number 3.
Number 3.
I need to do this in less than 4 minutes because it stops recording in 30. The Boondock Saints.
Never seen it.
I absolutely love this movie. It is a fantastic movie about two brothers trying to find their way. It is fantastic. We used to play this game whenever I lived at my apartment where we would watch it, and every time they said the F word, you had to take a shot. By the time
Weren't they Irish?
They are very Irish.
You
By
gotta
the
get a new liver after that game.
time you hit 10 minutes into the movie, they've already said the F word 45 times. It is really, there's literally a spot in the movie where he literally says the F word in every form it can be used in. It's like 23 F words in one row.
The F word version of buffalo, 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 buffalo. You have no idea what I just said, do you?
I do.
You know about that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but he's like, fucking fuck, twad, fucker, fuckery, fucks.
Kids, go away!
Yeah,
take the children out of the room!
But
Tanner's off again!
He just keeps going. He just keeps going. And but it's such a good movie. If you have a chance and you are of age, watch it.
If you are. Oh yeah, let me point that out. That two of mine were rated R, one was PG-13. Full Metal. We Were Soldiers. If you're not 18, you can watch We Were Soldiers. If you're under 18, you don't need to watch Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
You need to be over 18. You need to be like 21 to watch Full Metal Jacket.
Boondock Saints is rated R. It is one of my absolute favorite movies. It's fantastic. The second one sucks. Don't watch it. It's not very good. They had a different director.
Is this why you didn't want to do franchises?
Yeah.
You're like, well, Boondocks 2.
The Boondock Saints 1 is fantastic.
You know, I've never watched it.
I haven't. And I met the guys at Dragon Con. I got them to sign my collector's edition. It's a fantastic, literally goes down in my top 5 movies of all time.
Let's end it.
But thanks for coming along, guys. This was a long one today. And if you stuck around this long, kudos. You're a special animal.
You're the real MVP.
Yeah. But you'll catch us here next week at 8 a.m. on Monday morning.
Signing off.